All
up?
right. Carrie!
Hey, girl. Who are we?
Duh.
The Screaming Divas. Hello. Paris in lockdown and still in the dang woods, people.
Wait, is this over yet?
Over yet? No,
No.
but you know what? The cool thing is that we're still able to talk to a lot of awesome people. And who did we talk to today?
Tammy Wilson.
Yes, Tamara Wilson. Tamara Wilson. Amazing, amazing, extremely talented human being. Wonderful soprano voice. Totally versatile with her repertoire choices. She has stood on some big opera house stages, people, and really truly on the brink of a superstardom career when the pandemic hit.
Yep. She was looking at a season that was really going to be setting her into the stellar cast, everything. And then one by one, she saw each job canceled, as we all have. But
Yeah.
for her, I think it was a little more personal in a way because she was really just about to take that next step into superstardom, and the rug was just pulled out from underneath her. So,
But the good news is that a lot of those jobs are going to happen. And so it's mainly just a matter of time and holding on and making sure, you know, your chops are still good and your stamina is still good. And we talked a lot about that. So it was super fun to catch up with her and find out how she's doing in Houston, Texas. We love her.
we love her. We have a great clip.
Great clip. Here it is. Ding.
Oh no. See y'all soon.
See y'all soon. Bye.
You could probably sing Wagner, but your body and your physicalness has to be ready to sing Wagner because it's building different muscles.
Okay, so how in the world do you come out of a pandemic singing Wagner when every singer we've talked to has talked about this, how difficult the stamina is to get back into? I mean, 6 hours of rehearsal. Now, there's not enough practicing in your house you can do to get that stamina back.
There's not enough practicing, nor is there enough will.
Speak the truth, girl. Speak the truth.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Oh gosh, just looking at practicing, I just go, what's the point?
Is there another version of Schitt's Creek on? Because I really want to watch that.
Yeah, nice to see you. My God, it's been so long.
It's been really long. I mean, my goodness, years probably.
Norma?
Turandot at COC.
Oh yes, Turandot. During our Fish Called Wanda.
Rusalka, Lord mercy.
Oh my, how you doing?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm home in Houston. I've been here since Canada. When the pandemic started, I was in Toronto. And then, yeah, I've been home and it's been really nice.
We have lots to talk about home from all your social media awesomeness that I've been seeing, which is really super cool because we need to talk about that side of Tamara Wilson.
Have you been singing at all?
I've done a few recitals, and then I did, we recorded selections from Chicago Lyrics Attila.
Oh, you were in the Attila with Christian Van Horn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We never saw anybody. We all recorded separately. And then we had earbuds in to do one of the quartets. And so we had a piano track and we just recorded our own thing. So
that was crazy.
I know, right?
Crazy.
Welcome to
It's what Verdi wanted. It's how he intended it to sound.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Oh
He
my gosh.
wanted people to be on stage interacting with each other and saying, yeah, I hate you, I love you, and I don't know who you are, but yeah, I hate you.
You're imaginary. You're not here.
But you know what? Hey, you got to sing.
Exactly. It was nice.
And
it was, the other thing I did was we recorded for Oculus for virtual reality, some Fidelio arias with Washington National.
Oh yeah.
and that was cool. I have no idea when that's going to be done or ready.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but yeah, it was interesting. They built mini sets,
Hmm.
full rooms that we had to stay in, and the camera, like 360-degree camera, was in there, and we just kind of, it felt like a movie set. It was really cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was
now
that
wait a minute. Wait, well, sorry, what?
was that the Abschau?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then Russell Thomas did Florestan Zarya.
Yay. Love Russell. Okay, but when you said 360, there's part of me that like kind of started hyperventilating. I was like, are you gonna get my back fat in that? Because I don't want that in that video.
It's yeah, like literally the viewer can go anywhere in the space while you're singing.
Yeah, it's really, I know Cheska talked to me about this whole project, and I thought that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Okay. Did you get to choose what you wear, or did they have an outfit
They
for
had
you?
costume. They had,
Oh, okay.
and then it was set modern-ish day, or like any period kind of feel.
Cool. Okay.
So it was really cash and easy, but it was super fun.
So I'm going to be able to go and listen to this or watch this and be able to interact like a video game.
Have a virtual reality headset.
Wow. That's
Oh,
pretty damn cool.
talk about bringing that into the 2021.
Hello.
Right? Yeah. You could not get a more front row seat if you tried.
Actually, that's cool. I really want to see that.
So it took a pandemic to have opera come into the modern age.
Into a video game.
Yes. Opera, the video game.
But that's kind of cool. Okay. So what's next for you, or what won't be next for you?
Let's see. I've got some other recitals. Like I have stuff that's sort of still planned this spring, but we're still in the who knows land.
Right.
While
Totally.
people are still getting vaccinated. And then things are happening in the fall. I just can't talk about it yet, you know, that kind of thing.
But are they, I mean, like I just had a girlfriend just text me and she's like, well, I just lost that job in the fall. And it's here in the States that it was just canceled. So, and none of the contracts, I don't know if your contracts for fall are actually on paper, but I mean, it's like you're asked, but is it really going to happen or not going to happen? Nobody really knows.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You are, in both of our opinions, at the brink of superstardom.
Superstar career.
And you were just ramping up to it. And then pandemic came.
Yeah, it was going to be a really exciting year for me. Not gonna lie. I was gearing up for my first Isolde, and it was like prime conditions to do it because it's Santa Fe. Right. It's it's not huge pressure, but it's still like, here's how you can try the biggest Wagner sing ever. Yeah, and then it just kind of, all that 2 years of hard work kind of just evaporated. Not really, because that work will coming down the line. But yeah, it felt like I had the rug kind of pulled out from under me a little bit. But at the same time, I was so worried about it because it is such a big, like, put you out here at a different level, because I've been in Verdiland for so long. And it would have been my first staged Wagner. I've done like snippets in concert, but this would have been like the first thing.
Right.
And I got in my head about it, right? Because it's like, well, if you're gonna try this role, it better be good, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And kind of when it just went away, I was like, well, there's a little bit of pressure released.
Yeah, but still, you plan. People don't know that. It's not like, oh, okay, well, it's Tuesday, I'm going to go sing Isolde in Santa Fe. I mean, your managers and we as singers, we plan our careers. We plan, years and years in advance, the right place with the right cast, with the right conductor, the right time and the right pieces before it and after it. And, you know, it's a perfect little puzzle. And now your Rubik's Cube has just been all like mixed up again, showing my.
And I got like an offer to do it somewhere else. And I was like, no, it's not the right, you know, way for me to do it.
Gotcha.
Because I can practice it at home. I can coach it.
Mm-hmm.
I can work on it with a teacher. When you're actually performing that role and doing the marathon that it is, you need to know how you function well doing it in all conditions. And that was going to be, Santa Fe was going to be my test, you know, because you don't know how to perform it till you're with an orchestra.
So how do you move on from that? Like, how do you mentally, career-wise, everything, move on from that?
Well, I look at things this way. I've always kind of looked at things this way. If things fall through or change, they changed for a very specific reason. The universe was saying, hey, this is not your right time to do this. So whenever I do it next will be the right time.
Cool.
So that's kind of how I look at it. Plus I was working a lot right before, and I had kind of lost that love of it for a little bit, you know, love of the music.
Mm-hmm.
And that when the pandemic hit, I didn't sing for like 3 months when it first happened. And it was a little bit of sadness from, you know, a little bit of depression just from like uncertainty about the future.
Mm-hmm.
That was mostly, I was like, are we gonna have an industry after this? It was more that.
Right.
And I had always told myself like, oh, if I stop singing, it's fine, because I love teaching and I'm gonna teach no matter what. It's my main goals. So I was like, oh, I could do that. And when the pandemic hit, it was the first time I was like, I'm not done singing. You can't tell me I'm done singing. And it was the first time I was really like adamant that like, no, this is my love. This is my passion. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I probably wouldn't have had that if I was like, keep it working.
Right.
So yeah, there's been like good things about it and bad things about it, but I'm in a better place about it now, because now I'm appreciating what I do.
Absolutely. Right. So for someone like you in the position that you are in the opera business, do you think that it's more like your career just hit a pause? And then when we are able to be back in all of those wonderful opportunities that not only had happened, but were coming again, or we're moving into even bigger things worldwide, is that all just getting pushed back into 2022 through 5 or whatever it is?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of why I'm not as worried. I'm still worried about just our economy and how everything's going to work out. Right. But yeah, I've been very lucky to have some intendants and CEOs in my corner who have supported me since like I was 23.
Right.
So they were like, you know, we have to cancel this, but here's what we're going to do down the road. And so I've actually been very lucky in that fact.
Cool.
And you know, if not, studio, here I come.
I'd walk in there. Hello, may I have a lesson, please? When I heard your turn dot and how even that was from the top to the bottom of your voice, I was like, damn girl, that was like a master class in technique. That was amazing. Congrats on that.
I loved singing that. It was fun.
You could tell.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about dramatic voices, because I have a question from the kids here in the academy in Paris. One girl in particular wants to know, you know, how do you go between the German and the Italian repertoire? And also, when did you really feel ready to do the dramatic repertoire? Because dramatic voices, you know, they're a different animal.
It is totally different. When I first started singing, I was singing mostly, like, I'm talking about college, mostly Baroque music and chorus stuff. I was you know, a lighter singer and I did Mozart. Like that's what I did. And then I got hired at HGO, and Patrick Summers, the conductor there, was like, hey, look at Lucia. And I was like, are you insane? And then like other stuff they would say, you know, like look at Ballo. And again, I was like, that's not my voice. I don't, just because I'm a big girl and tall doesn't mean I have a big voice, kind of a thing. And I almost said raised. I was taught by my teacher to be very, don't sing bigger than your britches, you know, make sure it's all about resonance, clear tone, easy production, and pure vowels. Like that's what my technique was. And I just happened to get into the Verdi world because somebody dropped out of a show, and HGO gave me a really big chance. Like I could have like crashed and burned. Like it was a big gamble. So when my career started, my first big role was Ballo. And then my next show after that, I was going to do First Lady, and I was covering Constanza.
Okay.
The gal from that got sick. So I went on for the role of Constanza for 5 performances.
Whoa.
So exactly.
Whoa.
So my first auditions out of the gate were, you know, I sang Matinale Arten and Eccolo Rito Campo. So it was like, my auditions were half hours long.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And people on the panels were always like, yeah, please go ahead and try to sing both of those. And I was like,
Okay.
that's what I did.
There you go.
And, yeah. And, you know, I probably wouldn't sing Constanza again, but I can still sing it, but I wouldn't be cast as it, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, you did Norma. You did Norma, right?
Yeah, did Norma. That was my first one when I met you in person for the first time. Oh my God. Sitting backstage watching you sing that role, I was like, how did she get so much sound? It's amazing. Yeah.
You did an amazing job.
Oh, that was a bad time for me. Like I had a death in the family, and I was in a bad way during that show. So that's all I remember about that show, was like making it through it.
Isn't that crazy how when life throws, our personal lives throw whammies at you like that, and really in those moments? I've had people come up to me later. I'm like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. They're like, we met you. Like I worked with you. I was like, what? And then I realized what I was going through during that time. And I apologize profusely, but I'm so sorry. I was going through really shitty time, and I didn't, you know, you just are focusing on job. I can't deal with the rest.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of compartmentalize and get into that vein, and then whatever.
Yeah.
But, so sorry, tangent.
Hey, listen.
Getting into repertoire.
Yeah.
Started doing, I think my first Strauss role was Kaiserin in Frau und Schatten. So here's the thing. Every repertoire thing or composer I did, like my first Puccini was Turandot. Exactly. So when people are like, oh, getting into Wagner is like some big thing, I've been training for it slowly,
right,
the whole time.
Okay.
But like my version of Wagner is going to be probably a little bit more lyrical than, like, Nina Stemme is a different beast.
Right.
You know, that's a totally different Wagner. But I've been building the stamina
all this time.
Do you use the same technique? This was the other question from them.
I use the same technique, except I have a more open throat feeling because of the German vowels.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
basically what it is.
So
go.
So do you agree with this statement? I've known Marilyn Horn since I was in college, and had a relationship with her. She knows my voice really well. And she always had said, you're going to sing this Wagner repertoire. I said, you're out of your mind. I've been telling everybody that for years, but, and you're kind of making me change my mind. Maybe I should be a little bit more brave like you are. And, you know, your first Puccini was Turandot. Girl, Lord have mercy. Anyway, but with the Wagnerian, she said, just always promise me that it'll be like, in a way, like Lotte Lehmann, like you approach the Wagner, just like you approach with your Italian, those long, beautiful, phrases always. And I don't care what anybody tells you, you sing it like that. Do you agree with that? Or
I do. I think if you look at somebody like Bertold Meyer and
yes.
people like that, it's not like a Birgit Nielsen where it's so in your face,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still like you're cutting over. It's not about width or breadth of the voice, I'll say. It's about cut when you're with that orchestra.
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception for teaching young, bigger voices nowadays that it has to be some kind of wall of sound. Who was it? I did Ariadne with Andreas Schlager. And when I heard that voice, that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, that's a Wagner voice. That's insane. Because he, like, the way he cuts,
yeah,
is huge.
huge.
He was like, oh, I got my start in operetta. And he did, like, he was an operetta tenor. And
I love that.
Yeah, but because he was performing more often,
Mm-hmm.
he was probably a bit more physical in shows than other opera productions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're building up your body to get ready for Wagner. That's the thing. It's like you could probably sing Wagner, but your body and your physicalness has to be ready to sing Wagner because it's building different muscles.
Okay, so how in the world do you come out of a pandemic singing Wagner when every singer we've talked to has talked about this, how difficult the stamina is to get back into? I mean, 6 hours of rehearsal. Now, there's not enough practicing in your house you can do to get that stamina back.
There's not enough practicing, nor is there enough like will.
Speak the truth, girl. Speak the truth.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Oh gosh, like just looking at practicing, I just go, what's the point?
Is there another version of Schitt's Creek on? Because I really want to watch that.
Get another thing canceled.
Yeah, like, and that's why I said no to that other Isolde, because it would have been coming out of this. And I was like, that is the stupidest thing I could do on the planet. Not know how I do it and then try to no. So
yeah, how do you get that stamina back?
I tend to think, well, I would say probably building back in to your schedule, if it's possible, roles that you've done that you know and are comfortable so that you can do something that is already in your wheelhouse so you can test where you're at.
Yeah.
Then I know it's weird, but I go on walks and kind of like and sing a little bit while I'm walking.
Yeah.
Because then it takes my mind off of being perfect or whatever. It's just get it in your body. And it's one of those things where if you can do it while you're moving, your body is going to build up to it.
Yeah.
Like doing that recording for the Fidelio, I was singing it like in our musical rehearsals, totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to filming it and we're filming it. I think I sang it 7 or 8 times in a row that day. It was like a full day of shooting.
Whoa.
And like, I'm moving all around the set. I'm changing, I'm putting stuff on. I'm like getting a gun out drawers. Like I'm writing stuff down. There was a lot of business, which was awesome for like actual acting and doing stuff in a scene. Like that was fantastic.
Cool.
But you know, I had 2 days to do it. So my body wasn't ready to like pace it. you know? So I'd always get to the end and I'd have to breathe after the last note, ba-da-da-da, bum, bum, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
And, you know, I would never do that in performance because you're in the whole show, you're revving up for it. But like, try to go into a dressing room, try on 20 different pairs of clothes, and then try to sing a phrase. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? We all have to give ourselves a bit of a break right now too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that perfection that we have worked so hard for up until a year ago, I mean, I think we have to be kind to ourselves. And you touched on something I want to talk about, where you say the tenor that you did the Ariadne with had that point in it. And that is so key because I teach master classes, not probably like you teaching lessons, but I always say to them, be more economic and wise, you know, don't work harder, work smarter, you know? And if you put that point on the voice, that carries in the opera house.
Oh, totally. Yeah. All you're doing is making sure the frequency at what your sound is moving through the air gets to ears.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. And because orchestras are different frequencies than you, we can do that. That's why it's, 80 versus 1. But yeah, he had this, like, if you were right next to him, it hurt your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that kind of singing, but it was still beautiful, which I was amazed to find, because tenors are trained differently now, I think, than they used to be. And he had that classical, like, his technique was amazing. You'd never see him breathe. He had no tension. It was just like, he was in his body and he was confident and happy. And I was like, you sure you're a tenor? Just baritone with really, really high notes.
Uh-huh.
Well, a lot of them started that way too,
Yeah.
Especially the Wagnerians. Yeah.
I think you have to be careful with, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I think you have to be careful though, when you talk about point on the voice, because I think that some young singers take that as into like, I'm gonna sing like this. And then you shut down the back and all the color's gone. All of a sudden it's like, instead of this, it's only that. And I think you have to watch that.
I always tell students to go to the extremes when they're trying to find their perfect resonant point. Go back as far as you can, go forward as far as you can, find a middle ground. When I'm finding my spot, I always feel a buzz right where that hard bone of your hard palate meets your soft palate. That's where I feel it.
Okay.
And then I make sure my soft palate is as high as it can be for the color.
Right.
And then I make sure, I don't like mask singing. I think it gives young students a place to put something.
Yes.
And so it's a false positive, should we put it that way? Because you can still sing it, you can still make the sound.
Yeah.
But it makes it so if something is not being sung on the breath, it gets stuck and you can't do anything about it. And that's when it has to force into your nose, because you have nowhere to go.
Or they grab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at us. We're like, yep.
We're like, yep, been there, done that.
And when you teach with kids now, I've been working with the kids here for a couple days in Paris, and you're like, oh yeah, I used to do that. Oh yeah, I used to do that. Oh yeah. And they're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
all of us did the bad things.
I don't think they believe that, like, oh, you're Sandra, but like, let me tell you, this person did it and this person did it. We all have done it. So, you just got to work through it. And you're right. Find it yourself.
Yeah, because it's different for everybody. Your resonance spot is going to feel different to you than it is to someone else.
That's why the best teachers approach it from 10 different ways, that they know how to explain this in 10 different ways for 10 different brains. So,
yeah. You have visual learners, you have metaphoric learners, you have ones who like really want to know where their, larynx is.
Yeah.
Some want to just feel it. Some by sensation, and some go by listening. And you just have to figure out which one works for you. But if you go by listening and you go in a different acoustic, that's always a bit dangerous.
Do you guys have like, I have a house where it's like I could feel like I could sing anything in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is like it's the Coliseum. I love that theater with a passion. If I could sing everything there, I'd be so happy.
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny how big voices like those good acoustics too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I like hearing something back. Because
Yeah.
to me, everything close to me sounds really fuzzy.
Yes.
So I like having a little bit of reverb back so I can check in to know that my ring is going where I want it to go.
Okay, but the worst is when you're rehearsing and maybe maximum you've had 100, 500 people in the theater and you're still hearing the ring, 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 ring. It's the first time you've been in this theater, and then all of a sudden the audience comes, opening night, and you walk out and sing your first whatever you're singing, and then you're like, oh, sweet Jesus.
I don't hear anything. Hello?
That's, you know what I mean? That's why, like, I have always had to make sure, no matter, even I love my acoustics in my house for that kind of reverb, but okay, also what does that feel like? Because the one time that happened to me in a theater, and I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, this aria is so hard and I only know how to maneuver through it when I can hear it. Big mistake, huge.
It's true. So what one role, if right now we would say, Tammy Wilson, this role is me right now, what would that be? Not just dramatically, but vocally.
I would say, to me, Kaiserin is the comfiest thing I've ever sung. And I love the music. That or Chrysotomus.
Ooh.
Those to me right now feel really, really comfy. Like I can wake up and just sing them.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you did all your Italian stuff.
I'm still doing them, but like it's different. Like those to me feel like exercise singing. I can't relax in Verdi opera because I don't think you can.
No one can.
You always have to be thinking about what comes next, how you prepare this to get there. Yeah, it's always, but for some reason with the Strauss, it's all about just getting through the line. And for me, that feels like I'm sailing versus I'm the person pulling all the ropes to make sure the boat's not sinking.
Love that.
Great description.
That's really perfect.
Really great description. I love it.
Okay, I want to talk about social media. Also, because that brings into your YouTube. I feel like your YouTube was however many years before the pandemic.
I started that, oh God, like at least 7 or 8 years ago.
Yes. So my question is, we want to talk about social media and your thoughts on all that, but also why not revive that YouTube while you've been home during the pandemic? What made you not do it?
Okay. So I started doing those YouTube videos to just bridge the gap between not knowing how an opera career works and then starting working. Because as a young artist, you have the comfiness of your, support group. And then you get out there and you're just like, oh, I'm in charge of everything now. And your managers might be helpful and they might not be. So it's kind of one of those things where how do I build a career? How do I function now that I don't have a regimented schedule?
Yeah.
I have to create the time for me to practice. And there's so much life distraction that it's easy to not practice. Me all the time. But yeah, so I started that and I was doing, I was on the road all the time and I was singing a lot in South America and in Spain, and I never took Spanish. So I I literally was kind of just like, well, I can't talk to anybody right now. Why don't I talk to the internet?
Okay.
And so that's kind of how I started it. And then I started doing funny things because I thought it would just be fun. And it basically cured my boredom for a while.
Okay.
And then after, I must have stopped it like 4 years ago or something like that. Maybe
Yeah.
more, something like that. I had a comment on one of my videos. I think it was like what it's like to debut at the Met. And it was like, I had a really weird go to the Met experience. Like I was on a plane and Michael Bolton was sitting in front of me on the plane. Exactly. And I got violently ill for some like food poisoning or whatever. So I like lived in the bathroom of the plane for like most of the ride. And so I was talking about like, that's how I got to my first rehearsal, blah, blah, blah. And it was a video about, you know, the glamorous side of opera.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah, exactly. And so some random person wrote like, nobody wants to hear about this. Nobody wants to hear about you and blah, blah, blah. And
Boom.
I usually don't take comments to heart, but that was the first one that I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Nobody does want to hear about what I do. And so it literally made me have anxiety to do the videos because I was then trying to cultivate the videos for an imaginary person that I was, you know, afraid of.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, if I say this, people are going to get mad at me for that. Like it became crushing. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just not going to do this. And it helped because I was working more and doing stuff. So I did get busy.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the main catalyst. It was somebody saying that I wasn't worth it. And I'd always had inadequate feelings since I was little. So it was kind of a perfect storm of things. And yeah, I was like, well, I'm not Joyce. I'm not Sandra. They don't want to hear from me. It was literally like that kind of, you know. And so, yeah, I stopped. And I kept saying, you know, I'll try it again. I'll try it again. And there was just, I'd get to the computer or the camera and I'd just be like, oh, this is not making me happy. This is making me full of anxiety.
Yep.
And
That's why I stopped. And that's also why I left Twitter and I left Instagram, because
Okay.
I was living my life to please others and not actually just listening to myself and being happy with myself.
Yeah.
I've always felt like there was pressure to like put something up. And I was like, nobody needs to see how many meals I'm cooking. I was like, literally, like, yeah, I made some yummy stuff, but like, I don't need to be spending my time doing this. And the minute I got off Twitter, I was happier.
Well,
Because I was looking at the doomsday scroll
right.
every morning and just being angry every morning. And now, like, I'm still on Facebook just to connect with people because it's just easier to find us.
Right.
When business.
Right.
Although there's that new link, sort of LinkedIn for singers. What's it called? Stage Time?
I don't know about this.
I don't know about this.
It's called Stage Time. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe that's a good way for singers to connect now.
Yeah, it's this thing this gal made, and it's literally like, it's professional singers, and you have a little bio, and you have like a main page kind of a thing, and they help curate it and make it for you.
Cool.
And I think they're working on an app right now, so it'll transfer over to the app eventually, but it's literally all artists and performers.
Love it.
Yeah, I'll look
Okay.
it up and send the link to you so you can.
Cool, thanks.
But it's really neat.
But it's funny how social media does exactly the opposite of what I think the premise of it is for a lot of people now. And I think more and more people are finding that during the pandemic, that instead of lifting you up and making you feel better about yourself, it actually makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
And you're always comparing yourself or feeling inadequate. And that's, if anything else in our life made us feel like that, we would definitely quit it.
Yeah.
But social media, we just hold on to it because for whatever reason, we all have different reasons, wanting to be liked, wanting to connect with people. But if it makes you feel that crappy, people, don't do it.
No, I thought it was funny. I was telling a friend the other day, I'm like, it's kind of funny that I'm making all this content and I post stuff on there for Screaming Divas. And of course, like I post my rescue dog on there because he's hilarious to me and it makes me happy. But when I start scrolling through and all of a sudden, and I'm like, this is gross. I don't want to. Now, if Marjorie Owens posted every day on everything, I want to see her stuff because she makes me laugh every time she posts something crazy. I mean, I love it so much. Now, I want that on my feed, but the majority of the crap that's on my feed, I'm like, or like Chelsea Handler, like skiing with no top on. I want that on my feed. Like that makes me happy.
Is there a filter? Is there a way we can filter and just see the people that make us happy and not the people?
Yeah, I just mute people who are negative all the time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a way that we can just filter out people that we don't want to. Sorry. Well, if we want to know about you, we'll go find you. But the day-to-day stuff, maybe there's a way we can just see the people that we want to see and the rest of them. But I don't even check it every day anymore. I check it when I need to put something up. But we did a great interview with Andrew Owsley from Unison Media, and he really taught us a lot about social media and how to filter it. And because I was always told, post every day. What it doesn't matter what it is, but post every day. And he said the exact opposite. If you don't have anything to talk about, don't put it up. And that's, like, hey,
freedom. All of a sudden,
yes.
freedom. And
you're not attached to that phone, like going,
Yeah. But I did love how because this was, Tammy, you and I both were managed by Damon while he was at Cami. And he was really big on, you got to get on here. And I fought him for a long time because I said, I need to be very real, and I'm on a job and I'm miserable, or life, like what you're saying, death of family, and I have nothing to talk about. But I love that Andrew separated it because he was like, listen, it's still you still have to show up for your job. And in a way, social media is an extension of your job because it should be part of your job. And so you need to find a way, just like you show up for rehearsal and you show up for a show, you need to show up for this. And I thought, okay, then I can do that, but it still needs to be in a really real, authentic way. And how can I figure that out?
Yeah, I didn't like parts of it that was like, okay, well, I'm putting out what I believe singer Tammy is versus just being me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or like, what kind of diva are you going to be on social media? That kind of thing. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be fashion diva. I'm not going to be, and there's categories of, divas out there.
I found that interesting, you making those dresses. I thought that was really cool. Can we talk about that? You making your own clothes? Because that's super creative and that's super cool. And cutting your own hair.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing. So my mom grew up on a farm in Kansas. And then my dad, their whole family were like construction and contractors and stuff. So like my sister and I were raised very like, oh, you need something done? Go do it. Learn how to do it and then go do it. So when I started working and you see like, you go to Nordstrom's or whatever and be like, this dress is $3,000. And I was like, no, it isn't. Goodbye. And I would go and like get a cheaper dress from David's Bridal or whatever, $100 sale dress. And then I would add sleeves to it because nobody makes sleeves on dresses. And I would add beading and, alter things a bit. And I still do that now. Like on the Attila thing, I made the dress that I wore for that. And it's just, it's something else I can do creatively that's
Mhm.
just fun.
Mhm.
And it's economical. Like to me, everything is like thrift before whatever.
So is that where all the carpentry skills came from? Like your amazing candy dispenser at Halloween? That was freaking amazing.
Thank
Can we
you.
put a picture of that up
We have to.
on this? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you pics of all the stuff. Yeah, so I did that Halloween thing this year. I made painted cutouts of like a dog, like a little fox and a squirrel with a Christmas present. And my mom's side, everybody on my mom's side was somehow artistic. Like my aunt painted, my uncle was a sculptor,
Okay.
and then my cousin, John, he runs a Comic-Con.
All I want to know is if you've ridden in the Batmobile. That's all I want to know.
I haven't yet. I know.
No, tell people about John, because I fell down the rabbit hole of researching you, and then I found that, and then I really fell down the rabbit hole because I was like, I love this dude. I have to know him. Okay, go ahead. Tell him.
Yeah, so he's just he's a normal like construction kind of painter by day.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves comics, and so he and some of my cousins and friends of his, they made a Comic-Con. And he builds life-size Jabba the Hutt sets, and he's done
This so much.
really cool. And I got to help one summer. I got to go one summer and help, and was like up, selling t-shirts and checking people in and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like a runner for like the guest people who came.
Okay.
And that year it was Lando Calrissian from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Williams. And then one of the original Catwomen, not
Halle Berry.
No, we're talking 50s.
Yeah, okay.
Like originals. And then like
Not Michelle
I
Pfeiffer.
got to meet the gal who played what's her name, Obadon from Supernatural one year, and like so it was just really fun. But he's a very, very talented man, and
Unbelievable.
Anything.
Unbelievable. Can I just say, if you ever do get to ride in that Batmobile, will you please video that and put that on social media immediately?
I will.
Let's pivot. Let's talk about you and mentorship. And you because you have on Facebook, you have a group that kind of helps young singers, and not just young singers. I mean, talking to all singers about this form in this country, and what do you guys do with this? And you really collectively brought a lot of people together and gathered a lot of information for a lot of singers.
Yeah, it's hard. Like rules keep changing, laws keep changing. So sometimes you think you start as a singer and your manager is going to know, okay, well, you need this in this country, you need this. And sometimes they don't. So you show up to a gig and they're like, where's your A1 form or whatever? And you're like, pardon?
What?
Je me squeeze me? Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where people already accept you to know everything.
Right.
When you get somewhere.
Yeah.
They don't think, they don't deal with this every day on a daily basis like my job does. Perhaps we should tell somebody. So since nobody was doing that, I decided, let's crowdsource professional working singers and then talk about that stuff and see who's experienced. Like when the pandemic happened, people were like, can anybody get a visa in this city to go anywhere? Is anybody stuck? Like, who do I talk? Like, it was that stuff, because there's no rules. There's no one's looking out for self-employed people. So it's kind of that thing. So like late spring of last year, a group of singers came up with the idea to have like an actual mentorship program where people are paired up individually with a professional for like a year or 2 years, depending. And it's like people who are graduating and trying to get to young artist or in young artist and coming into the real world. And so we started our website for that and signed up for that. It's kind of still early days because we're all volunteer singers, so we're trying to, you know, be website, you know, savvy. And
which hat do I have on today, right?
yeah, exactly. Which, can we just say, for all the singers who lost all of their jobs this year, every single one of them has been savvy in some way and can do many jobs because we're trained to do many jobs. And I just want to like teach music in schools, y'all.
Yes, amen to that.
Fabulous women doing it. Thank you very much. So you're passionate about mentoring. You're passionate about helping young singers. You're passionate about teaching young singers as well now.
Yeah, I haven't done like I'll do some lessons, but like I don't like teaching on Zoom because it's a false diagnosis. And so if somebody sings something or sends me a recording, I'll be like, oh, okay, you're doing this, this, and this. But I feel very wary still of trying to like teach. So it's more like a suggestion advice hour. But yeah, when I was in school, I was in doctoral candidacy, and I was gonna be a professor. I was gonna be a teacher. And then the opera life just happened. Like I got an opportunity, and then that snowballed. But yeah, for a little bit, I taught the HGO high school artists. I taught half of that studio. I taught 4 kids. And like, I would just go to those lessons and be so happy and so fulfilled after them. Like, they never made me, you know, like, oh, I don't want to go. Like, I was literally like, oh, this is so nice. And when you see other people figure stuff out for themselves and succeed, like all 3 of them are in music. No, all four of them are in music.
Cool.
And it kind of just like one girl, I came back for Electra, and I was doing Chrysotomus, and she was doing like one of the not the maids, but the people who help Clytemnestra. And like, she was on stage with me, and it was like the coolest thing, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It teaches me to be a better singer too.
Oh, totally.
Because I can verbalize sometimes what I've never verbalized before. You know, you could just say, oh, that's how I do that. And I don't know, but you're right. Good. And you light up when you talk about it. That's really great to see.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah. And like in high school, we had like a class where you get to be a teacher's aide at the elementary school for an hour and then come back to high school. And it was, I don't know, I've always loved teaching. And my mom was an educator. She was a teacher too. So it's like, I'm pretty sure that's just ingrained somehow. And
it's a talent. It's a talent.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Not everybody can teach. And I find that sometimes the best singers are the worst teachers, you know? So there's
something about natural talent and knowing how it works for you, but not having it is diagnosed. You're a doctor of singing. Like, you literally go, your larynx is a little too high there, because you have to know what you're hearing to know what to fix.
Yep.
And it's not going to be perfect, you know, everything's an experiment, but you can at least put people on the right path. But yeah, you need the ears for it too, not just I read a book that Caruso wrote about how to teach or singing.
Right. And some big name singers, big time singers of the past, you know, they have a very specific technique that works just for them.
Yeah.
And to teach that kind of technique to other people, I don't, you know, it doesn't translate. So bravo to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Have you guys ever worked with Deb Birnbaum?
Yes.
Oh, you did.
She opened my eyes because when she did like looking at how your torso is and saying, you know, you have this kind of build, so your lungs are gonna like. It was the first time it opened me up to, oh yeah, everybody's body is built differently. Everybody's throat is built differently.
Yes.
So you can't have, yeah, exactly. I tell people like, if we're comparing like stuff that Sandra and I have done, I was like, Sandra has this really nice long face. I have this really round face. And when I try to open my mouth like really wide, I can't.
You
And
got it.
she gets this backspace and this mouth space that is amazing. And like, I cannot do that. Like I physically, it is impossible for me to do that.
I put a billiard ball in there before. Just gonna put that out there, folks.
Yeah, I could not do that.
I
That's
learned
amazing.
it isn't, yeah, her big old space. I learned when I went through vocal trauma in college that my natural anatomy, I had in my tongue, I have like I don't know, a river or a divot or whatever. There's a curve in it. And that I learned that if anybody ever tries to tell me to straighten out that tongue, you need to run out of that studio because your body naturally does that. And you need to have that in there to produce what you do. And so, and I just thought, okay, that's really super cool. But there are some teachers that just think everybody's mouth and position and tongue and everything should all be the same. And that's just not the case.
No, I mean, but look we have 3 completely different face shapes and 3 completely different mouths.
Yeah.
And any teacher that teaches the exact same technique to every person, run, people.
Run.
Run. Or when they tell you, go sound like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, get the heck out of Dodge. Because I mean, look at Carrie's face shape. Carrie has this beautiful little heart face. I have a long, tall face, and Tammy has a wider face because she's got that dramatic voice. And also that means that the vocal cords are going to be different with everybody too.
Yep.
And like you said, you can't open your mouth the same way, and Carrie doesn't open her mouth the same way. So you have to think more this way, right, Tammy? More.
I do width between the ears. Yeah, totally.
Right. And I got to think long and lean.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really it's interesting, and these are all things that you just learn.
Yeah.
From years and years and years of doing it. And
I had a girl in a master class doing once. I was like, can you relax your tongue on the front of your bottom teeth? And she was curling her tongue under, like, and I was like, why are you curling your tongue under? Just let it relax. And she's like, oh, well, someone told me my tongue is too big for my mouth. I was like, honey, you were born with that tongue in that mouth. Like, that's what it should be.
You just have to find a natural resting place for it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, bless.
Yeah.
Oh.
A hot damn mess, people. And if it's not working for you, get out of the studio. And it also isn't always just one person. I mean,
you're involved with that. That's the problem.
Hello. Yeah. I don't know. I think it takes a village. It always has with me. It's never just been one. I mean, it's several.
And it takes, to have your manager involved in it too. And let's talk about that. You were with Cammie, right?
Yeah, we both were. Yep. Bye. Bye-bye.
I was with Betsy Crittenden when I started.
Okay.
And then she retired.
Right.
And I had to pick between her and Damon because he was her assistant. Mm-hmm. And it felt like mom and dad were divorcing, and because they both wanted me to come with them. And at a young age, I had to decide, well, do I want to keep a manager who has all of this amazing experience and know-how and really does care about me and care about my career, who, she just had hip surgery. She couldn't travel as much. Mm-hmm. I had to think about, well, I'm just starting. How long before we would have to part ways naturally?
Right.
And then I was like, do I want to leave a big company? Because in my head at the time, I was like, well, they're going to go to the big companies first, find people. So yeah, there was a lot of like business decisions that had to be made at that time. And I stayed with Damon. And then, when I was in Verona, he phoned me and was like, oh, and just so you hear it from me, I'm not going to be there anymore. And I was like, okay, fantastic.
Wait. Is this Verona when all the shit exploded in Verona? Oh, okay, good times.
A whole blackface Aida.
Mm-hmm. So that was exciting. And then, so I had that on top of all that else. And then Nathan picked up the slack, and I was like, I really like Nathan.
Me too.
And when Cammie folded, Nathan called and he was like, so Cammie is no more. I was like, okay. Like, and because it was like pandemic times, I laughed on the phone. I was like,
You're joking.
that's about right. That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I was like, let's just get all the bad stuff out of the way.
Yep.
And then he was like, you can go with someone else. And I had people, you know.
Sure, of course you did. My God.
Go somewhere else. And I was like, you know what? When Nathan decided to be his own person, I was like, nope, I'm staying with Nathan. Because I trust him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a big thing. He is very proactive, but not in an asshole way, which is how I want to be represented as a person.
Okay.
I don't like managers who are like so cutthroat that they forget ethics.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's like how managers are in general, but like I know that that's not him, so I was very comfortable staying with him. And he's known me now for a few years, and I didn't want to have to start another relationship.
Got it.
You know? And he knows your voice. Does he get your voice?
He does. And he's comfortable saying no for me when I'm uncomfortable with something, or if I say, you know, I don't feel that it's the right time. He's like, yeah, I agree. We'll pass on this. Like, so he's very, you know, it's a partnership and a manager like career thing versus, well, you haven't been working now for 8 or 9 months. You need gigs. Like, I'm, again, because I saved all my money.
Yeah.
And I live in a small house in Texas. Like, I've been okay.
Gotcha.
And I've actually saved money this year because freaking traveling around and paying for apartments everywhere is, oh my God, like I work and lose money.
Yes. Yes.
If I do 3 shows a year and I can stay home in between, I would make much more money, which is insane.
It is totally insane. I agree with that.
It's not insane because oftentimes, because my husband is Carrie knows this, he's the one really great with money like Carrie and like you. And he'll look at the job and say, okay, here's the fee. And this is what you're going to have to pay for the plane ticket because they only pay for economy. And if I'm going over to Europe, my butt, hopefully it'll be in business class. So the plane ticket, my husband's plane ticket, because we have to pay for that, the apartment or the hotel, your manager fees, which are 20%, right? 15 or 20%. So then you have to look at it as a business.
Taxes,
yes. And thank you. Taxes on top of it. And if it's in Europe, it's taxes in Canada and taxes in whichever country you're in. Yep. So you're looking at automatically 50%, if not more, gone before you even get paid.
And now they're lowering the fees because
now they're lowering
the pandemic.
So you're right. Sometimes you have to look at the job and go,
it's not worth it.
I'm going to pay them money for the privilege of singing there. No. And it's hard. Yeah. And I think a lot of young singers have to look at this now and say, is this wise? Is it good for my career? Is it worth making only $5? Because a lot of people hear it. And I think this is going to be the new norm. We have to think through all of that.
I would always say that your gig pays for your next stuff. You don't make money from it. You're always thinking ahead to what you have to pay for in the future.
Right.
Yeah, I would do the same. Like my dad, because he was a business guy, he made sure when I first met a manager, I had a 5 to 10 year business plan written out. And I gave it to my manager and she was like, what are you?
Yep.
Why are you? But like I accomplished everything on that, save one thing,
Nice.
in my 10 years. So it works. And then, yeah, when I first started out, when you look at your net profits, you might, from a gig, only net profit like $2,000. And it's like a huge fee.
Yeah.
And a company will say, we're giving you all this money.
Yep.
We're giving you so much money. Like, and you're like, correct. But also other businesses, they have a credit card where they're not paying for their flights. They have a company that's giving them benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have benefits.
None.
Anywhere, like unless you're working in and living in Europe.
Or Canada.
Or Canada, yeah,
or Canada. So no 401k, no health insurance, no life insurance, no
Travel insurance now too, because it's a pandemic. And if God forbid something happens to you when you're traveling and you get COVID, you have to get supplemental, at least as Canadians, we have to get supplemental insurance to travel now.
Yeah.
I mean,
and those are expensive.
I think that I was talking to a couple people the other day about this, that I think the new norm is going to be singers that are singing and also have a side hustle. Sorry. I mean, I just think it's going to, especially for youngers, I think they're going to have both. They're going to have multiple skills.
Yeah. Or they're going to have to sing more, and rehearsal processes are just going to have to be snip, snip. Because I mean, the days of 6 to 8 weeks of rehearsals for new production, those are gone. And I think we were heading that direction anyway, but
yeah, I think if we had the amount of pre-planning that movies do, we could definitely have less rehearsal, and it would cut into our bottom line. We wouldn't have to spend as much on your apartment at home,
right,
or in traveling.
Right.
Now that we have all these Zoom meetings,
right,
why can't we have a production meeting that you include the people who are performing it?
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding.
Or even meet with the conductor then too and say, let's just all be on the same page, everybody. Because how many musicals do we go with and we go, oh, wait, that was cut? Oh, or that's in, or, oh, that's your tempo? Oh.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of that you can do.
Yeah.
When I did the Washington thing, luckily I'm friends with the conductor. Like we kind of came up together at HGO. So we had a FaceTime, and I was basically like, okay, this measure, this is how many clicks I need for this tempo. This is what I've been averaging, and we went through, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. Do you breathe in this phrase? Like, and it takes a half hour,
Thank you.
If you do, again, work smarter, not harder.
Thank you.
And the other thing is we have to wait so many times for other people to come from places,
right?
Which, that's not singers' fault.
No.
We don't create schedules.
Right.
We just show up.
Yeah. And I hate the attitude when you do come late and you're like, oh, like I had to give up a contract because the last show of something was going to overlap 2 days with the beginning of rehearsals for a 4 to 6 week period.
Yep. I got fired from one, even though the previous intendant had approved it. It just wasn't in writing. It was more like, email back and forth. And then they fired me, and they said, the new intendant said, no, you have to be here. And I was like, but they're doing the HD, like they're doing the recording. I can't not miss this performance. This is the recording, the radio recorded one or something. I could switch it if you did, but it wasn't my fault that this date got changed to this. And they were like, either you show up or you're fired.
And I think there's going to be a lot more of that.
Oh, heck yes.
Because there are how many people standing behind us right now that, thousands and thousands and thousands.
That's the other thing. Like when I'm mentoring singers, I always had people who would come to school and talk who are professional, and they'd be like, you sing on these stages and you travel. It always felt like rainbows and happiness when people were talking about it. And I'm like, you are going to sacrifice parts of your life in order to do this.
Yep.
And I try to give everybody a realistic view of what our career actually is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For us, the sacrifice was community, because we were never there long enough. Because when Chris traveled with me, we were on the road for months at a time. So we didn't have friends where we lived, you know, and then now we've moved to Nashville. But then when we first moved here, I was gone all the time. And then and he worked. And so I really wanted to build a community where I had friends where I lived, not just, I have amazing friends all over the world, but I just needed that. And that's huge. I mean, when you can't call somebody and be like, hey, come over and let's have some beers. I mean,
Your
how do
peeps.
you, huh?
Your peeps.
Your peeps. I mean, how do you establish that when you haven't lived in a city very long, or you've moved to that city and you're never there because you're on the road? I think that kind of sucks balls. Anyway, okay, just had to state that.
And I love seeing Carrie on Zoom, but it's not the same as her and I going out doing girly shopping.
Thank you. Going to the spa. Are we ever going to be able to do that again?
Leah Crescendo and I went to a spa in DC, and I was like, this is the most like really amazing thing I've done in so long. Because yeah, you don't really self-care for yourself when you're on the road.
Or during a pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I had a massage was over a year ago. That is painful, people. I love me a massage.
Oh no, and I mean, how many times did we wear dirty sweatpants?
I'm sorry. Right now I'm sitting in my exercise pants with my Christmas socks on.
Oh my God, yes.
The real Carrie.
Right there, people. There it is. All right, rapid fire.
Okay. What's the most beloved thing you own?
Ooh, photos of my family.
Oh.
Best piece of advice you were ever given thus far?
Listen to your body and take breaks when you need them.
What is the greatest gift we can give one another?
Kindness.
Love. Last thing you Googled? Carrie Alchema. Just kidding.
No. It was, okay, so last night I was watching YouTube and we were watching Irish people react to American bullfighting, because that's my life.
Can you be my neighbor? Can I pop over? That's hilarious.
Yeah, if we were in the same vicinity, we'd be, hang out all the time.
Okay, wait. Can I just say this? Yes, because we have never hung out before, but I feel like I know you. Maybe, I don't know, through Damon, through whatever. Also, Marjorie Owens, this amazing female that I'm like, why haven't we had a meal or a cocktail or something? Because I feel like it's like my spirit animal.
Well, and Sopranos never get to be around each other.
Ever.
Except if you're one cast and the other cast, and then you're just like, bitch.
I'm tired.
Yeah. I'm tired, or bitch.
Oh, I mean, no. Okay, listen, I tried in Toronto. I had a whole thing, all the Sopranos, let's come over. Let's get it together. And then it all never came together.
You were going to go to Anna Bolena, weren't we? We were going to go to the Anna Bolena bar.
No. This was in Rusalka because Marjorie was there. Joyce was there. I mean, all these amazing women. I mean, all three of us were there. I thought, oh my God, all of us have to get together, but we're so swamped on jobs and so swamped with schedules that it just was like, how can this not happen? Sorry. All right. Sorry. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. Fashion trend you just never got.
Oh, Django jeans.
What is that?
Oh my God. You remember the 90s? They were like the jeans that were like way oversized and looked like huge clown, like when people are on stilts, it looked like that.
Yeah. Oh, they're called Django jeans?
I think so. Yeah.
I totally
I would have called them bell bottoms or flares, or I guess, but these are even bigger than that. Good.
Yeah. What is your no fail motivation song?
Oh. It's always this answer. Bitch better have my money.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I love you. Okay.
Guilty pleasure.
I'm never guilty about my pleasures. That's the thing.
You know who said that? Perrin Leach said the same thing.
Perrin Leach said the same thing. Maybe it's a Houston thing.
Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, then what is your greatest pleasure then? We won't say guilty pleasure, but greatest pleasure. What gives you the most pleasure right now?
Going to Disney World. I am a huge, it's not really known. I don't really talk about it much, but I love going to Disney parks. It's one of my favorite things. And I save my money. Like anything I make is what I go do, is I go to save for Disney vacations.
Okay, then I have several questions because I am a born and raised Floridian and there is only one Disney World. Thank you very much.
True.
So which one is your favorite and have you done the one in Paris?
I haven't been to Paris yet, but I like watch all of the stuff. Like I watch a lot of like people going to these things.
Okay.
I love Disney World. I grew up in California a little bit. So Disneyland was my first foray into it, but I was little enough that it wasn't like hoo-hoo. But 4th grade on, we'd always go to Florida.
Okay.
And like when you just listen to the soundtrack when you walk in, you just get goosebumps. And you just feel that inner child of happiness and not being judged. And everybody there has to be nice to you.
Yes, they do.
Oh God.
It's clean. It's beautifully clean. Okay, but I have to say this, the first time that I went to Disneyland in California and I walked into the park and I saw the castle, I giggled because I was like, that's tiny. That is not the real thing, people. No, it's in Florida. That's where it is.
It's just not as impressive as the one in Florida, and
it's like this.
California too.
And then people in Singapore are going, your one in Florida is so stupid.
I know.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, I watch a lot of like people going to different amusement parks stuff on YouTube, and Super Mario World is open in Japan now. It's at Universal, and I think they're gonna try to make it in Universal in Florida.
Have you done Universal in Florida?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Harry Potter Land it's an experience.
I want to go there.
Oh, I love it so.
See, that's why I want to retire, so I can go to freaking Universal Studios in Florida.
That's because we're going to the villages. Oh, Tammy, you are invited. You do not have children. So all of those of us singers that don't have children are all going to be the Golden Girls in the villages of Florida, just FYI.
Golden Girls, not the other one, right?
What?
The Golden Girls, not the other one.
What's the other
not
one?
Delta Burke. Not.
Oh, Designing Women. Oh my God. No.
I asked Carrie like which Golden Girls, or she asked me which Golden Girl I was, and I was, or which one she was, and I was like Delta Burke.
I was like, girl, go, you confused.
All right, Carrie, next one.
Okay. What movie would you watch on an endless loop?
The Red Shoes.
Ooh.
It's my favorite movie of all time. I've probably watched it at least 370 times. I have no joke.
Do you have any secret talents?
I mean, like other than woodworking and stuff, but like, I don't know. That's not a talent. I do paint. I paint for fun.
Cool.
Like abstract art.
Love that.
All right, Carrie.
Favorite cuss word, any language.
I love scheisse.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's really, it's got all the consonants. And you can yell it really well. Scheisse. Like it just works.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that ping to it, doesn't it? And it could still be heisse scheisse too, you know?
Oh my God, couldn't do that. Heisse scheisse.
That's my husband. That's when something's really big, we're like, that was heisse scheisse.
I'm gonna have to steal that.
You can. Can I ask the last one, Carrie?
Yeah, go for it. Go.
If heaven exists, what do you want to hear God say when you enter through the pearly gates?
You done good, kid.
Whoop, whoop.
Woo, woo. It was so lovely seeing you again. It's been way too long.
Way too long.
Way too long.
I just hug you guys.
Zoom hugs.
Everybody here, so we're like, we miss seeing everybody.
I know this is like the next best thing. I mean, that's why we did it. I just miss talking to my people. I miss talking to my crazy, insane, beautiful artists, human beings. I missed it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. We will all be back to work soon. And maybe in the same city.
Hallelujah.
And we will have a cocktail of choice together and a spa day.
Oh my gosh, please.
I'm so looking forward to that.
I am too. It's like that's my new dream. That's my new dream. Okay.
I went yesterday to go to the hair salon here in Paris because I got some rude action going on. And I was like, can I make a hair appointment? He said, well, you know, I think we're going to go into lockdown tomorrow. And I'm like, of course, because
Yeah, there's a third wave.
today is the day that I wanted to get my hair done.
Nope, not for you. It's called.
Not for me.
It's called.
No blonde for you. Scheisse.
Scheisse.
Heise Scheisse. See, there's a perfect moment to use. That was Heise Scheisse. That was hot shit.
Thank you for joining us on our shenanigans.
Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Well, take care of yourself, okay?
You too. Stay
All right. Hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.